Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again with another episode of the AC Milan career mode here on Xbox One. It's episode number 33, and after yesterday's, well, horror show really, we're trying to bounce back with a game in the Champions League against Ajax. Now, we were able to beat PSG in our previous Champions League game 3-2 after an absolute thriller, and Mario Balotelli was able to pick up a headed hat-trick. All three goals came from a header, so as you can see, the top of the Champions League group looks very, very tight indeed. Unfortunately, Zenit have lost all three of their games so far. However, the other three teams, Milan, Ajax, and PSG, all sit on 6 points as we head into this. The second round of fixtures, so to speak. So we're hoping to pick up a better result against Ajax this time than we did last time out. Of course, we were unfortunately only able to pick up a defeat from the first game of the Champions League against Ajax. Of course, we were away from home in that one, and we're at home in this one. But they were on the attack yet again, picking the ball up from the loose touch from the defender. Unfortunately, Guita was on hand to pick up or put in a decent save 2 or 3 times. Actually, it was Begovic, so I do apologise. I was playing a bit of a rotation side in this one, considering we had rather a tight run of fixtures at the end of the previous episode. But Marcel Jansen's going to break through here. Lovely ball through from fellow German Julian Draxler, of course, come into the side from Schalke, playing very, very well right now. And Marcel Jansen does have a rocket of a left foot. Unfortunately, though, not quite able to draw anything out of this the goalkeeper than a save. But Christian Zapata absolutely smashes the ball against the bar, and again, rather unfortunately, it comes back rather than going into the back of the net. But we push into the second half, trying to create something if we possibly can. Falls free to Nigel de Jong of all players, and the Dutchman can't make the Dutch team pay. And unfortunately, his shot falls far of that far post. But Adam Yates is breaking free down the left hand side. He picks the ball up off the defender and just uses his pace to get all the way around the outside of him. So teasing cross comes in, and the goalkeeper gets to it first, gets to the initial rebound, but the third attempt from Nocerino there finds its way into the back of the net. Unfortunately for the goalkeeper, the first or technically second effort was actually powerful enough to knock him off his feet and onto his backside, and he wasn't able to get back up in time before Nocerino was able to get the shot in on target. And we almost rounded the game out with a perfect end there. Giovanni Dos Santos cutting inside beautifully before unfortunately slotting the ball past that far post. Obviously, you're always going to cut inside onto his left foot from that right hand side, and I was just throwing bodies in front of the ball here, as you can see, time and time again into second half stoppage time. We were just so many men behind the ball, throwing legs, feet, heads, arms, anything in front of the ball, and then one lobbed through ball, which is the sort of pass they hadn't tried in that sequence, actually takes 2 defenders out of the game as they both go for the header, both misjudge the flight, drops to their man at the edge of the box, Kishner rather, and he pops the ball into the back of the net, and somehow we are only able to come away with a 1-1 draw there against Ajax, and I really felt that we should have won that one, considering the weight of chances that we had. We were disappointed not to come away with a victory, so we were hoping to bounce back against Roma. Obviously, a side that are going to be threatening us at the top of the table. Definitely a very, very good team. They went all the way last year, came third in the league last year, I think, behind ourselves and Juventus. And they currently sit fourth. We sit a little bit lower, but if we could pick up a victory here, that would be very, very pleasing indeed. Definitely help close the gap on the teams above us. We kind of lost pace a little bit in the past couple of episodes. But a few draws, a couple of defeats. But if we can get a few wins back to back in the league, then we'll definitely find ourselves back in contention. And we almost conceded an own goal here. The ball back to Guita was supposed to be on the floor, and his first touch took it towards the goal. Absolutely panics me, but Pedro gets played through here. Shows great pace to get away from the defender. Turns the man inside out, and then there is a finish across the goal. Into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper absolutely no chance, but that goalkeeper was going to prove to be more of a problem than I initially thought. Of course, they in the first season had Morgan DeSanctis in goal, and this guy's actually called Churchy, but I thought Honda had an absolute horror show. They really thought he should have put that into the back of the net. But if you look from the replay, this goalkeeper, watch his left foot. How good a save, how vital a save is that giant curly toe getting to the ball to knock it round the corner for a corner. Incidentally, up to goes Victor Ruiz, another good save from Churchy, and there's a bit of a melee before the ball eventually goes out for another corner, which unfortunately nothing came of, and we go in at half-time with just a 1-0 lead, but we are in front, which is the main thing. So we're going to push into the second half, hoping to actually beat Churchy for a second time, if we possibly could, but the initial clearance there isn't the best. Pjanic is able to find Jovino, gorgeous turn, slots in Mario Mandzukic, who finds at the back of the net just before the hour mark, and they bring themselves back to 1-1. And I can't argue against that. That turn from Gervinho absolutely made that move. That was so good. So I made a change, brought on Rubinho for Giovanni Dos Santos, who was disappointed to go off. You can tell from his body language there that he really didn't want to leave the action, but he hadn't been as penetrative as I may have liked on that right hand side, trying to create the chances that I wanted from him. And Pedro had been the main threat for us out wide, but unfortunately De Sciglio mistimed his tackle there. You'll be able to see from the replay. It's just he should have gone with his right foot and tried to hook across, and he's not. He's just tried to step across with his left foot. It's just not worked. He's not Florenzi to the floor, and it is a clear penalty, unfortunately. Now, if you remember the past yesterday's episode, the computer had 2 penalties against me in 2 separate games, and both went down the middle. So I risked it here. I risked not diving out of the way like I had done previously, and it paid off. Guita is able to make the save. Mario Mandzukic went down the middle just like his 2 predecessors had done. Unfortunately, this time we're able to come away with a good save and hopefully keep a point. But Gervinho's in the box again, drawing another good save out of Guita, and again, it's all about goalkeepers in this one. Guita and Chertsey there, man, just keeping us in it. So many chances. We're going to get another one here. Bonucci, but it's a tame header. And Chertsey dives down to it to smother the ball in stoppage time at the end of the second half. And as we look from the helicam into the San Siro, really nice camera shot actually, but we end 1-1. Despite numerous chances on goals for both sides, the goalkeepers came up trumps. We were only able to get 1 goal. But as you can see, we got a bit of a break now. There's an international break, so of course some of our players will be involved in that. But a lot of the squad are going to get a big rest, and it's something that we craved at this particular point in the season because we've had a lot of games throughout October. And as we push towards the end of November, that big rest might be what we need to push and kickstart our season, because we've kind of been losing pace with those above us, with all of the fixtures coming thick and fast. The stamina of the squad as a whole hasn't been the best. And as you can see, we currently sit 7th, although we do have a game in hand on Udinese in 6th. We can close the gap and go above them on goal difference should we win this game against Empoli. But we've had mixed fortunes against the teams that came up from Serie B last season. Of course, the opening game against a team that came up was Brescia, and we actually won that one 6-2. And then we had a very, very contrasting game against Palermo. We actually only drew that one 1-1. So I wasn't too sure what to expect from this game against Empoli, but early on we were able to get ourselves in front, and that is an emphatic finish from Nocerino there, racing away. Didn't think he was that fast, but clearly he had the legs on the defender. Really, really good turn of pace to power his way past the centre back there. Because you can see, he just drives around him. Great shot, and it thumps against the inside of the post. We take a 1-0 lead early on, and we have had a lot of early goals in this career mode so far. It really is quite surprising, but I don't know what the goalkeeper was doing there. I will show you a replay, and what I'm trying to do is not to rage and not to blame the goalkeeper, because a lot of you in the Chelsea career mode, I used to blame Courtois for a lot of the issues, but if you remember in yesterday's episode, Begovic's positioning was a bit off for one of the goals that we conceded, and here he just runs at the ball and then just jumps over it, and their man's able to put it into the back of an empty net. That was rather frustrating, it has to be said, but we pick up a free kick here on the edge of their box, around about 30 yards out or so, for a rather innocuous challenge at first glance. But if you see the replay, he does catch him down the front of his down the front of his shin with his studs there. It's quite a nasty challenge. Could have potentially done a little bit of damage. You do see people get, broken metatarsals, etc. from challenges like that. But we've got the free kick 20 yards out. Adam Yajic is the man to take it. And speaking of broken metatarsals and that free kick, you know what that reminds me of? Absolutely, almost identical, is the free kick that David Beckham scored for England against Greece to send England through to the World Cup in 2002 at Japan and Korea. That's pretty much identical. I was so happy with that free kick. This second replay shows it perfectly. Up over the wall, dipping and twisting away from the goalkeeper, and the ball practically goes through the camera lens as it breaches the back of the net. It was so ecstatic when that free kick went into the back of the net. We took a 2-1 lead, and we were almost able to extend it here through Alexander Lacazette as we pushed into stoppage time at the end of the first half. But the goalkeeper was able to make a pretty decent save, and unfortunately we weren't able to extend that lead. But we're going to get another chance before the half was out. Of course, 4 minutes added on, as you can see. Julian Draxler twisting and turning, and I really expected him to finish that shot. I guess that just shows how close he is to the finished product, but not quite there just yet. He's a world-class player, don't get me wrong, but he still misses that clinical finish that we've seen at times this season, but it's not consistent. And speaking of clinical finishing, Giovanni Dos Santos definitely didn't have it there. I almost had too much time on the ball, to be completely honest. I showed personally no composure controlling Giovanni Dos Santos there. I was just in two minds. Do I do him with the eyes and go for the near post? Do I try and drill it to the far post? Do I try and chip him? I just panicked and basically just kicked the ball straight at the goalkeeper. And unfortunately, we weren't able to extend the lead back to or up to 2 goals. But fortunately, even after Empoli hit the post, we were able to come away with 3 points. So that is a big confidence booster for us. That's exactly what we needed after that break in play with the international break. The team is not refurbished, but replenished in health. And unfortunately, we do have a Champions League game against Zenit literally 2 days after that game. But after that, I think we've got another little bit of a break, at least 5 or 6 days before the next game. So hopefully that can kickstart our season. We currently sit 6th, 5 points off Roma in 5th. But then it is very, very tight between there and the top of the table. Juve played 11, won 11, and then since have drawn 2. Still undefeated, the only team to be so in the league so far. But they're starting to drop off the pace. So if that continues, there's definitely a chance for us to get up towards the top of the table. But that's going to bring this one to a close, guys. Thank you very much for watching. There will be, of course, a World Cup Stickerbook episode later on tonight. There was a My Player last night, so feel free to check that out as well. And also a little bit of an Ultimate Team video, just a short 2 or 3 minute video, just kind of highlighting what I was able to pull during this initial first week of Team of the Season, etc. and just kind of getting some feedback about what you guys pulled. But that's going to bring this one to a close. Feel free to check the channel page for anything you may have missed. If you want to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything in the future, then hit that subscribe button. There's a link in the description and or an annotation on screen over the left hand side of the end slate there. If you missed yesterday's video, there's an annotation on the right hand side there to take you to that video. And of course, feel free to follow me on Twitter as well, at Chisnoy Gaming. I recently hit 800 followers over there, so we're going from strength to strength there, as we are on the channel as well. But that's all from me for today. Thank you very much for watching, guys. World Cup Stickerbook tonight, more AC Milan Career Mode tomorrow, and I will see you next time.